Greetings, Gray School of Wizardry, wizards and wizards to be. It's me, Professor Ambika Devi, your Dean of Psychic Arts, and today I want to demystify the senses, the super senses, and the clear senses. So in order to start your journey of understanding of the senses, first we must look at the gross senses. So the senses that are associated with the physical body. So we have the sense of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And each of these senses can have a super sense. So that's a heightened level. So if we think about it this way, let's just take the sense of hearing. And we can hear within a certain amount of megahertz. This is how we measure sound. But a dog can hear sounds that the human ear can't. However, there are a smaller group of beings who can hear sounds that most of us can't. For instance, I used to work in a band with a keyboard player who could listen on a terrible phone connection to a recording on a scratchy record and take dictation of every single instrument that was playing and write it out perfectly. He definitely had the super sense of hearing. This can happen with all the senses. So we could have the super sense of taste, and maybe we could taste every ingredient in a recipe. Or smell. We could smell a perfume and tell you not only what components in oils and carriers are inside that perfume, but how much of each of them. So all of our gross senses have that. And then we have a sixth sense, which is a knowing. And we could feel it within any of the other senses in the body. And this is a claircognizance. Now, the word clair comes from the language of French, and it means clear. And we have clear senses of all the senses that I described just before. So we have clairvoyance and clairalience and all of these senses have their clear version. And these are all explained in the Core Energy 101 class. And a clear sense is different from a super sense in that the item is not present. So if I have a vision, I'm seeing images and they're not here. Now, let me explain the difference between super sensing and clear sensing using the sense of hearing. So the super sense of hearing would be, say a parent is asleep in one place in the house and a baby is sleeping in another part of the house. And the baby stirs ever so slightly and that parent wakes up right away and runs to the baby and takes care of it. So they were deep asleep, but at some level they had this super sense where they heard that stirring, that rustling. Now the clear sense version of that would be the baby is sleeping in another state, maybe across the country, and they're with a caretaker and they're being very well taken care of. And the parent gets the sense that the baby needs something and they call the caretaker who's watching the baby. And sure enough, the baby was just beginning to stir. So that parent had that kind of clairaudience. They heard in somewhere in their energy field. We could say within the mind, we could say, but is it really in the mind? Because the mind is external. The mind's not in here. This is a receiver. The brain is a receiver, but the mind is actually external. So I hope that clarifies the senses for you. And I'll be back with more mini bites and lessons for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Skywalker. Hi, James Lloyd. It's great to see you here. And I look forward to more opportunities to share with you. If you have questions, by all means, start a conversation on our Facebook wall, and I will be happy to answer your questions about the psychic arts. Until next time, magic always.